Here we go, spawning in the bottom. Oh, should let them know. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn in a fresh best-of-3 in our first semifinals of the night, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing Talon Esports. It is Dark. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Protoss player representing himself, currently teamless but deserving to be on a team. He just 2-0'd Cure. It is NightMare. Here we go. Oh, my apologies. And if you're in the chat, predictions, Babby. Predictions, they will soon be open. So you can place your bets on who you believe is going to be the first to advance on to the grand finals. Will it be our Protoss or our Zerg? It is going to be up to you to decide. Un momento, Babby, un momento. Just trying to sort out those predictions. Match predictions. And my finals, best of 3. Dark or NightMare. Beautiful. Predictions are open as we speak, so place your bets. You have 2 minutes. 2 minutes to get your gamba going in the chat. Predictions. Predictions open. Here we go. So we do see Dark going for his own proxy hatch across the map. Now he's not going to be committing to a proxy hatch. He is going to be just delaying the economy here of NightMare. This will eventually be cancelled, but again, it's a very delayed expansion, forcing out a Zealot as well, delaying everything here from NightMare, forcing some lost mining time as well. As there is that cancel. From here, Dark should be going for the main base, but NightMare has already taken the second gas geyser. There is no gas steal available for Dark, as Dark is happily droning and taking his third base. So a nice cheeky start here from Dark. Just throwing a wrench in the opener of NightMare. Behind this again was a hatch gas pull. Standard opener from Dark. Actually going for a delayed spawning pull actually. But is settling in. Catching up in the chat. Who is SC2 Rebellion in the chats? Korean Protoss. Been competing for years. Used to be called Gilsing. See in chat, who's Rebellion? Rebellion is a Korean Protoss player. He's been competing for a very, very long time. I think Rebellion debuted back in 2014. Oh my god. 2014, actually maybe 2015-ish. 2015, 2016 era of StarCraft, around then. But he used to be called Gilsing, if you recall that name. And he name changed to Rebellion at the start of COVID, so around 2020. 2020-ish, he did rename to Rebellion. He is a Korean Protoss. Are you sure it's not wheezing or coughing? That's awful. that's a stretch, Papi. He's not a Pokemon. Ay. Esther Jeff. Shaking my head. Shaking my head. As we do see again, Dark just settling into a 3-base setup. We're droning on up. You must have him confused with Vanya, Papi. Vanya. AKA Wayne, AKA Radita. Shaking my head. As NightMare is going for Stargate opener, we have Oracles moving out across the map. Going to be threading that main base. Queens are keeping up though. Dark, we have 2 Queens at the third, 2 Queens in the main. The Natural is a little bit more exposed, but the Spore is about to finish up, and the Oracle gets no damage done. Dark, he does keep up. Behind this, NightMare taking his third, and we should be transitioning into our Twilight Council, into our Forge, into our follow-up. As the first Oracle is joined by the second. Diving in towards that third. So far going to be forced back. Dark is zoning away those Oracles. Unfortunately for NightMare, there's no Adepts in conjunction with this, so there's nothing to really pull Dark apart. The Adepts are kept at home. Third Oracle's moving out, and NightMare, he's transitioning into his Forge and Twilight Council, getting ready for his Blink and +1 for the minigame. But NightMare has been slowed down. This third base is quite late for NightMare, and a big reason why I couldn't afford those Adepts earlier is because of the delayed Natural. So NightMare stumbling his way into the mid game. Oracles, they commit. They go for the queen. They get one. One queen goes down. Can we get another? It's going to be close. It looks like we do not. We barely do get that second queen. The pickoffs there by NightMare. Does pull back. Taking some hull damage, but well, worth it overall. Keeping the Oracles alive. Dark will be joining up, saturating on 3 bases. 4th is on the way. And interesting, Dark has not thrown down a Roach Warren. Lair is about to finish up. No Roach Warren in sight. This could just be Ling Bane into Ultra from Dark, or could be Ling Bane into Hydra. Regardless, Dark is going to be making use of that Lair. If we take all of our gases, it could even be Spire play as well, as all 6 gases have been taken. And it is not a Spire, it is the Hydra Den. So Ling Bane Hydra from Dark. And this can work wonders against Blink Stalkers. And thankfully for Dark, it is Blink that's on the way, not Charge. So solid setup here from Dark, going Ling Bane Hydra. This can lead into Lurker play later on down the line as well. And there's going to be a window. There's going to be a window here where Dark only has Ling to defend. So NightMare can try to apply some pressure, does push forward. Gonna get some tumors. Dark double expanding, getting a 4th and a 5th. As NightMare moves out, Dark, he does move in with his Ling run by. No shield battery! Uh-oh. No shield battery, but he doesn't commit. Doesn't push in. Dark rotating back around. Just keeping this army busy. Behind this, we have 10 Hydras on the way. Not just that, we have second Evo Chamber, Infestation Pits, working towards Hive Tech, and eventually those Lurkers. Dark is looking comfortable. Very comfortable here. So we see Dark rotating back around. Colossus production has commenced for NightMare. We have second Robo on the way. He's getting ready for double Colossus. And basically, NightMare is going to be stuck at home. He should be taking a 4th. We should be seeing a 4th base, and we should be turtling up, getting up to 2 and then 4 Colossi. The Colossi will help immensely against this army of Dark. The problem is that Dark is already working on the Lurker Den. Colossi, they work wonders against Ling Bane Hydra, but this is soon going to turn into Ling Bane Hydra Lurker. And Lurkers, they will change things. Not just that, Hive is on the way for Viper production as well. Dark is 1 step ahead when it comes to the tech. Stalkers are moving in. 4th base is on the way, but the 4th is exposed. And here come the Lings. As Stalkers are out of position. We collapse on the Nexus. We have the Colossus, but it's not going to be enough. The base is going to be cancelled. Cancelled just in time. Dark does bleed out some Hydras, so NightMare is able to get that at least, but he's still contained to 3 bases. That Lurker Den is finishing. Is about to finish. Dark behind this, going to be able to mass up his Lurker counts. Hive is finishing up as well for the Lurker upgrades for the Vipers as well. Dark, he already spotted the Colossi, so he knows that he needs to prioritize this tech transition. There it is. 5 Lurkers on the way. 2 Vipers in production as well. And the problem is that I'm sure NightMare doesn't want to move out, not until he gets a critical mass of Colossi. We're going to surround. Stalkers are caught out. Blink is used and we catch the Stalkers. We force the recall. And so many Stalkers go down. NightMare caught with his pants down. Behind this, we are up to 3 Colossi. That's not bad, but we bled out so many Stalkers there. Brutal loss for NightMare. Rock get knocked down. Lurker range is on the way. Vipers are amassing, gathering up energy. Lurkers are pushing in. And NightMare has to be so careful with how he engages. If he does overextend with his Colossi, then the Vipers will abduct them and they will go down immediately. These Colossi are so fragile. And here come the yoinks! Up! And we barely get one. One Colossus will go down. Never mind, we do get away. NightMare. He shaved off a lot of Lings, by the way. Dark was committed. So many Lings went down. The Lurkers are trying to reposition. The Colossi stand strong. One Viper gets picked up. Good snipe there by NightMare. Very nicely done. Gets another Lurker. Forced to throw down the Blinding Clouds. The Lurkers are going down. NightMare, can he break through? It's getting close. He is. Yeah, lurkers are falling one after the other. There is not enough buffer here, not enough Ling Hydra. The Colossi, they barely break through, and we have to keep pushing. We cannot turn around. Another lurker falls. We have 3 left. And NightMare, he backs off. He's going for the kill, going for the hatchery. Hatchery goes down again. This fight was so close. It was so tense. NightMare barely keeping his Colossi alive, barely sniping, not just the lurkers, but the Vipers as well. And Dark, he's in trouble. Dark is suddenly in a lot of trouble. Again, that first fight was brutal for Dark. Throwing away so many Lings. You see NightMare repositioning. Lurkers are not ready. Yeah, Lurkers know where they need to be. We dive on top of them. 3 lurkers get denied. 4 lurkers get denied. Dark caught out of position. And you can see Dark just stuck outside of his own natural. Boys, they have to be pulled. We do manage. Oh god, those are some brutal spine shots. We do take down a lot of stalkers. That was a big loss there for NightMare. At the same time as ZvP comes in, we deny mining at the 4th. 8 drones go down. Dark's economy not looking hot right now. It's gonna be 10 dead drones. NightMare still maintains the Colossi. Very impressive. Still has everyone alive. Rotating once again. We have some Ling harass. We have a shield battery to defend. 4th base is up and running for NightMare. NightMare has the better economy. And behind this is getting into Immortal production. Immortals are on the way. Prism into the main. Darky's stuck turtling back at home. Now, to be fair, Darky's up to 16 lurkers. He has a critical mass of lurkers. As long as he's able to keep up with the rotations of NightMare, NightMare cannot push in. NightMare, he cannot push into 16 lurkers. That's not going to happen. At the same time, NightMare doesn't need to push in. He's on 4 bases. NightMare, he can take a 5th and deny the 5th base of Dark and transition to Skytoss. Skytoss would be a great transition right now from NightMare. For now, though, we're going into a Templar Archives. This is going to be for Archon production and Storm. He is refining his ground army, but the reality is, as the lurker count gets higher and higher, we do need to force, or it should force a transition into Skytoss, into air. And NightMare hasn't embraced that yet. He has the room for it. Like, look at the bank of NightMare. He has the money to throw down some tech. High Templar morphing in for Archons. So NightMare, he's playing it safe. Instead of rushing into Skytoss, we're playing it safe. We're investing into Storm, Archons. Now we throw down the Fleet Beacon. I do think this could have been faster, but it's on the way. Skytoss is on the horizon here for NightMare. And again, NightMare does not have to push in. It would be a mistake if he does. Ooh, as we're taking a lot of hits. Taking a lot of hits here. NightMare, like, again, we calm down, Poppy. There's no reason to push into this. Like, look at the line of lurkers. That's not gonna happen. NightMare just has to calm things down. Back off. Take another base. Probe up. Like, NightMare's economy is actually not amazing. He's still on 65 probes. He could get away with a higher probe count. We can see Dark trying to break out. Two more Stargates on the way. Storm is finishing. We do get the revelation off. Ooh, big spine shots. Big lurker shots there from Dark. Again, NightMare, he's playing with fire right now. And he's backing up. Like, the problem is that NightMare, he has to dance on the edge to deny the 5th, and he misses the 5th base. Like, all we need is a couple of Zealots. These Zealots here, if they go for the 5th base, they can force a cancel. Dark sneaking it out. Yeah, NightMare, he's distracted. His attention is here on the left-hand side. The base, it's getting up and running. We're getting there. NightMare being forced back. He's ready for a collapse with these Zealots. NightMare pushing in, but again, 16 lurkers. You can't push into this. And Darky's broken out. He has broken out. He's establishing his 5th base. Yeah, bullying NightMare back. Oof. Once again, a massive wave of lurker shots. Now we're getting to carriers. We have 3 carriers being manned at a time. ZvP is coming in. It's being cleaned up. And Dark is pushing. And there's a window. Before the carriers come out, Dark, he can try to break NightMare. Has to be careful, though. Pushing up this ramp is brutal. Dark rotating around. Ooh, big spine shots going off. Yeah, a lot of stalkers going down. Dark, he takes a massive stace to the face. Oh, but the move command. NightMare getting caught out. Bleeds out a Colossus, bleeds out some Archons. Just has to hold on to this ramp. Mothership has arrived. Carriers have arrived. And now where's the anti-air? Massive slow zone here on the lurkers. And we're chasing Dark down. That's a lot of lurkers falling. Dark desperately trying to go for some harassment. Splits up his lurkers. Probes are going down at the same time. A Ling Hydra counter here on the left-hand side. And Dark keeps amassing Hydras. We have mass Hydra on the way. Lings, they bust into the mineral line. How many lurker kills was that? That was 24. Oh my god. That was 16 in that fight. 16 lurkers just went down. Massive trade there for NightMare. He's still in this. He has a Sky Toss. And Dark does not have a Spire. He's not ready for Sky Toss. Not ready for this. He's stuck on Hydra Lurker Viper. Now, thankfully, there's only 3 carriers. Hydra Lurker Viper can hold its own against a low carrier count. But as the Sky Toss gets larger, we need Corruptors. And what was 3 carriers is now 6. 6 carriers are on the way. I believe the Mothership is out. Yeah, Mothership is here on the right-hand side. Dark, he's stuck turtling up back at home. NightMare is down to 40 workers. Still no 5th base, by the way. We could have expanded earlier. We do need a 5th. Dark, he's looking for it as well. There we go. 5th Nexus now being taken by NightMare. He is moving out. Now, I still want to favor NightMare's army. Remember, NightMare doesn't just have carriers. He has Storm. He has Storms. These Hydras are so vulnerable here. They're so fragile. A couple of Storms is all that NightMare needs. Pushing in. Here come the yoinks. We get 1. We get 2. 2 carriers get yoinked. Only 1 goes down. Yeah, we get the base. Hatchery will fall. Lurkers zoning back the ground army. But a good pick off here for NightMare. Storms on the Lurkers. And the Hydras as well. And NightMare is getting cornered. He may have to recall. Yeah, force a recall out. We snipe 1 carrier. Ooh. Oh, Colossus even. Not a bad trade from NightMare. Does pull back. 5th base is on the way. It's getting up and running. Dark rotating back around. Again, this game has been so tense for so long. Like, it was on a knife's edge where Dark barely held, and then NightMare barely held. We're all barely holding on. And on top of that, we have a low economy as well. Dark is on 65 workers, NightMare on 49, so 48. Catch an Oracle. Good pick up by Dark. At the same time, NightMare coming in from the left-hand side, collapsing on the would-be 5th. Does force a cancel. At the same time, Changeling does scout the 5th base of NightMare. Dark does have the supply lead, but again, he's relying on Hydras. Lurkers are going down. Big feedbacks here on the Vipers. That was 6 Lurkers falling, and a Viper as well. Good fungal on the Interceptors. Not bad. A lot of Interceptors just got shut down. NightMare going to be rotating. Dark still trapped here, still stuck on Hydra Lurker Viper. Again, Dark doesn't really have the economy for a Spire right now, or a tech switch. He needs a better economy. He needs NightMare to back up, really more than anything. We get a fungal on the Archons. Storm zones Dark back. Dark rebuilding. Another Storm here on the Hydras. We're making 3 more carriers. That's dangerous. We're getting up to 8 carriers. Soon we're going to hit critical. We're about to hit critical mass of carrier. And with that, we can start just attacking into Hydras. It will not matter anymore how many Hydras there are. As long as we have a good intercept account, the NightMare will be able to push through. Dark, he's relying a lot on these infestors. We're going to have Microbial Shroud. What is it? Yeah, that's what it's called. I was second guessing myself. We're going to have Microbial Shrouds, which is okay if there aren't any storms, but we have High Templar available. If the High Templar go down, then we can Microbial Shroud. Like, unironically, we could defend here with our Hydras. Ooh, feedbacks are brutal. Every single Viper does get feedbacked. We did take down some of the High Templar, though. We only have 4 High Templar left. I believe there's only 1 High Templar with this army. Oh, wait, no, there's 4. There's 4 High Templar, but they don't have any storms. Dark could engage. As Dark, he's maxing out. Finally, Dark, he is maxing out. No storms currently here for NightMare. We got +2 air attack on the way. We're getting into Immortal production. That will help against the Lurkers. Runback comes in. We do pick up a High Templar. Very nice pick up. High Templar goes down. We force a cancel on the Nexus. NightMare still on 5 bases. Dark taking a 6. More Lurkers on the way. How many Hydras? 20. 20 Hydras here. I'm still concerned about the anti-air. 20 Hydras can be good enough to hold. We'll see. Infestors are exposed. Oh. We land a fungal. 1 Infestor goes down. Big feedbacks here on the Vipers once again. We get a couple of yoinks up. 1 and 2 carriers go down. Big abductions. Can we get a 3rd? Barely we can. 3 carriers. Almost a 4th. Almost. Whew. Again, these Vipers are the MVPs. Even though they got feedback, they still survived. Keeping the carrier count low. Keeping it manageable. A brutal choke point as well. A lot of interceptors going to be falling. Yeah, these Hydras, they go to town on those interceptors. Again, pushing up this choke point is brutal. Like, on either side. Whether it's this choke point or this one here. NightMare bleeds out a lot. Archon Runback gets cleaned up. NightMare throwing away quite a bit. And his supportive army isn't really too substantial. He doesn't have any Archons. He has 2 Immortals and a handful of Storms. These carriers, they look quite exposed. NightMare burning through his bank, bleeding out too much. You see here, that was 4 Immortals and 1 Archon. And I believe the Immortals died trying to push up this ramp. The Archon on the right-hand side. Those are some expensive losses. Dark, he's pushing out. Let's go. Does push out across the map. Does find a base. NightMare out of position. At the same time, Dark pushing on the left-hand side as well. NightMare, where does he go? High Templar. Massive pickoffs. We got 1, we got 2, we got 3. 4 High Templar go down. There's a 5th as well. Massive pickoffs. Yeah, we forced out a storm. Storming our own probes. And that was 5 High Templar. That was brutal. There's 3 left. And without storms, there's nothing to zone Dark away. And he's done it. Dark, he's bounced back hard in this game. Who needs Corruptors? Now, to be fair, NightMare, he did overextend a couple too many times. And didn't take full advantage of his map control earlier. And now he's found himself in an awkward position. Yeah, Hydra's on the right-hand side. We take down a Nexus. The 4 Hydra hit squad. Nexus goes down. Denying the 5th. Dark coming in once again towards the left-hand side as well. Another Ling run by. There are Zealots to defend. The Lurkers are coming in as well. And NightMare just having a hard time keeping up. Oh, the probes. No! They're coming back! Oh my god. We do pull back in time. Thankfully, we save the workers, but the base is under fire. NightMare rotating around. But again, Dark has remaxed. Back into his Vipers, back into his Infestors. And again, Dark, he's never engaged with the main army. He's been defending against it, but he's never looking for a fight with it. Just non-stop harassment. Hydra's once again coming in on the right-hand side, pulling NightMare apart. And getting behind the mineral line. Dark just waiting for NightMare to push into him. Very patient play. Now NightMare pushing into Spores. Dark getting in position. Behind that Spore line. Big spine shots going off. We land the fungal. If the army can't gain any ground. And Darky just goes for another counterattack. 28 probes go down. Leagues are pushing into the natural. We get another yoink off. Feedback a little bit too late there. Forced to recall. NightMare, he was looking so good in this game. There were multiple times as we annihilate the mineral line, by the way. The Leagues are going ham. But Dark, he was on the edge. NightMare was so close to bringing him down. GG gets called. The comeback is real. And Dark takes game number 1. GG. Oh my god. Very impressive play there by Dark. He was up against the wall. The carrier transition caught him off guard. The initial Colossus push straight up almost killed him. Remember, that was the moment when Dark, he lost all of his Lings. He lost like 6 of those lurkers as well. Dark, he was at death's door. But he clawed his way back in, and I mentioned before that part of that was also a NightMare. When NightMare was containing Dark to 4 bases, when NightMare was ahead, that was a NightMare he needed to expand, tech up as well, just take advantage of the situation that Dark was in. But it did feel like NightMare was playing a little bit scared. He was very tentative. If you remember, he opted to go into Storm and Archon production first, before the Fleet Beacon. He stayed on 3-base saturation, took him a long time to take a 5th as well. Again, NightMare, he was playing very unsure of himself, it felt, or a little bit concerned and scared of what Dark would do. I don't blame him, it is Dark we're talking about. And maybe that worked against NightMare a little bit there. The mental even working against NightMare. And with that, Dark, he claws his way back in, and here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of side Delta. We have the player leading the series 1-0, representing Talon Esports. It is Dark. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player representing himself, currently teamless, but deserving to be on the team. Such a close game number 1. Now he finds himself down in game number 2. Can we bounce back? It is NightMare. Here we go. Carriers just can't win. That's a little bit reductive there. I don't think it was the carriers that lost NightMare that game, but it was other things just announcing there against NightMare. Again, his economy was a big one. His economy, his tech transition. If you remember, there was also that moment as well when NightMare missed the 5th. Even though he had map control, Dark, he snuck out with a drone. He got his 5th base. NightMare definitely could have, if he had known it was there, he 100% could have denied it, could have contained Dark even longer to 4 bases. But NightMare did miss it in the end. There's a lot that came into that game. But here we go, Dark once again going for the hatch block. As a reminder, Dark, he's getting into his hatch gas follow-up into a delayed spawning pool. Dark is droning. This is a way to disrupt the opener. This is very similar to a Protoss player going for a pylon block at the start of the game. Very similar concept here or even, I should say, this is probably closer to an eBay block that a Terran goes for against Protoss, where you go for an eBay block and you delay the expansion, you force probes off the mineral line, force out a Zealot as well. And Dark should be canceling this and getting away with that drift. As we do disrupt the economy. There's that cancel. Drone is going to be slipping into the main. If we can, we're going to try and gas steal as well. If we can. But the probe is on hold position. Up! As I say that, The probe was not on hold position, by the way, and we get the gas steal. Aye, that is annoying. Usually, the way to counter a gas steal is to take your gases at your natural, but the natural's delayed. We have to focus on the gas. Oof. So a big moment there for Dark. Dark, he cancels. He can restart it. Oh, we barely don't. No, and the drone gets away. That was a big commitment, a lot of lost mining time. The drone finally goes down, but that is a lot of damage dealt early on by one drone. Aye. That's a late expansion, that's late gases, that's a lot of lost mining time as well from the drone pool, from the earlier drone pool as well, forcing out the zealots. It all adds up. Good start here for Dark. And now we're settling into our game, and I do like this from NightMare. It's a robo. This could lead into a 2-base all-in. It's going to be a robo opener. Now, this could be one of many things. This could just be, if this was a standard game, I would assume this would be a disruptor opener. Disruptors into a disruptor drop. That's what would make sense. But recently, players like Hero, players like Classic, they've been very fond of immortal 2-base slow lot all-ins. So I'm curious what is going to be done with this. If we go for the Bay or not. Do we go for the Immortals or the Bay? And there it is. We have the Bay on the way, so it is going to be a disruptor drop. Okay. Whew. We're not going for an all-in. Now, this opener is very risky for NightMare. With a disruptor-based play like this, you don't have much map control. You don't have much of a map presence. Ooh, especially with the Adepts getting caught out. Oh, that's a rough start here for NightMare. He's going to have a hard time expanding. Again, we needed those Adepts to expand and take a third base. Forcing another warp in. Dark keeping tabs on NightMare. Dark behind this, going to be joining up. We have a safety Roach Warren on the way. That was around a 4-minute 30 Roach Warren timing. We are getting to our Roach Warren. Dark behind this. Again, destroying, making a safety amount of Lings. Now, Dark doesn't know if this is Glaive Adepts. To be fair, he doesn't know if it's Glaive Adepts or DTs. Adepts have been revealed. Dark is getting ready back at home. Spores are on the way. We have a Spore at the third. No Spore at the natural. Going for an Evo Chamber. Here comes that War Prison Speed. And that Disruptor drop, it's coming. Is on the way. Going to be on the way. Ling still just applying pressure to the third base. They confirmed the third as well, so Dark knows it's not a 2-base all-in, which means Dark can drone. And there we go. We have 8 drones in production, taking extra gases. Colossus production has commenced for the counterattack, and here comes that drop. Prism is spotted. We do notice that the Prism is faster than normal, so we should recognize that it is going to be Disruptors. Show us the Novas. Good Spore positioning. We zone away the Prism. Does take some hull damage. Nova's going to be going off, going for the Queen. Queen goes down. It does go down. The Prism, no! As the Prism goes past the Queens, and that's 2 Disruptors going down for 1 Queen. A big distraction here with the Ling run by, and that is brutal. That was not meant to happen. Ay. And with that, that is 2 Disruptors down the drain, the Prism down the drain as well for 1 Queen. This is a brutal start here for NightMare. And now NightMare, he's stuck at home and he's behind. He is behind. Again, this is the risk you take when you go for a Disruptor drop opener. NightMare distracted at the wrong moment, and again, all his eggs, all his Disruptors, they were all in the same basket, Papi, and oh boy. This is a rough start. Dark, he's double expanding. He's free to double expand, taking a 4th, taking a 5th base as well. He's freely droning. We have a Bailey Nest on the way. It's going to be Ling Bane, Roach Ravager. Solid army composition here from Dark. And Dark is going to be the first to max out. And NightMare has no presence. Blink is halfway done. Without Blink, we can't really push out. Prism is on the way. Prism is being rebuilt. NightMare, he's lost any kind of map control, and Yeah, Dark, he's just free to do whatever he wants right now. It's ay. If Dark wanted to, we could drone up to 80. We can see that Dark, he's stopping at full base production. Sorry, full base saturation. 71 drones, or just under full base saturation. 71 drones, and Dark, he's looking to just max out on Lingbane Roach Ravager. You can see NightMare going for a Colossus drop. And again, he has to do something here. Oh, the Observer goes down. And with that, NightMare has to back off. Does have Blink, at least. And we're just waiting for Dark to amass his army. Waiting for the army to amass. Again, the 4th base only being used for Larva. No saturation yet. I should say the 5th base only being used for Larva. No saturation. As again, here come the Banelings, here come the Ravagers. Dark, he's at 180 army supply. As we mentioned, Dark, he's about to max out. As NightMare's 4th is cancelled. Here comes Dark. We're going to surround this army. He's got Lingbane from behind. His Roach Ravager from the front. We have 1 Disruptor. So we have a Nova to work with. We have 1 Colossus. Sorry, 2 Disruptors. 2 Disruptors to work with. Lingbane is rolling forward. Nova goes up. Good connection. Good connection on the Roach's Lings. They come in from behind as well. We have the overcharged Banelings. They go for the army. And they crash in. Ignoring the army. Going for the mineral line instead. Probes are going down. 21 workers fall. And the Colossus is exposed. Yeah, we start a step forward. We focus it down. And NightMare has nothing left. GG gets called. Dark will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, a rough game number 2 there from NightMare. But what I will say, if you maybe tune in towards the tail end of the series, I highly recommend watching Game 1. Because Game 1 was very close. Game 1 was very back and forth. It was very dynamic between both NightMare and Dark. I was very impressed with NightMare in game number 1. Game number 2, NightMare just stumbled out the gate with the delayed Nexus, with the gas steal, with the mineral loss, or with the mining time loss as well. And on top of that, with the opener falling on its face and with the Prism getting sniped, it was just a rough game there all around for NightMare. Was a rough game, but game 1 was beautiful. it was a lot more dynamic, and it was a great game. It was a great game 1. With that, GG, well played. Congratulations to Dark. He advances on to the grand finals. The predictions are going to get paid out, and we are getting ready for our next series. We're getting ready for the grand finals. Oh my god, the bracket progressing very quickly here. !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves.